Today, I want to talk to you about a little tiny word that has so much control over your business. This little word, only 2 letters long, actually can stop you in your tracks. It can cause you to quit your business. It can prevent you from reaching success. It can block your way to reaching goals and dreams and accomplishing really big things in your life. So, what is this word? If you haven't guessed it already, the word is no. And so many of us detest this word. It is kind of hardwired into us from the time we were teeny tiny people to really reject hearing this word. We equate it with the word failure in our life. We feel like our will is thwarted and we do not like to hear the word no. But I want to hopefully help you to have a paradigm shift here and think about it a little bit differently, realizing that the word no is actually very rarely personal. Instead, it's often just a response to the question that you asked in the way that you asked it and at the time that you asked it. Often, what is going on behind the no is usually one of these four things. It might be an incomplete connection with the person that you're talking to. Maybe you don't have the right things that you're bringing to the table. Maybe you don't have the proper skill set, the proper knowledge base to get a different reply. Another thing is that sometimes it is an incomplete sharing of information. Maybe you have not given the right information for a different decision to be made, and that really addresses the lack of communication that's going on. Sometimes it's the wrong timing. This isn't the right time for a different response, and really that is getting at, are we willing to maybe bring it up at a different time? Are we willing to persevere for a different answer at a different time? And then the other thing I thought of is that sometimes it's the wrong question, really, and maybe the question is not appropriate. Maybe we're not asking it to the right person. And you can probably take all of those different things and think about them even with your children and the different times that they need to hear no. And it usually kind of goes back to one of those things. So why are we bringing this up, and why am I talking about this related to your Usborne Books and More business? Well, this is a great just mindset shift I had when I heard this information from a woman named Andrea Waltz many years ago in a training. And she really encouraged us to go for no and to increase our rate of failure. Because like I said before, so often we do equate the word no with failure, and we see that as a really bad thing. But I want you instead to realize that when we are relying on the word yes to feel like we are successful, the problem is that we will always be faced with struggling and suffering, because life is a numbers thing, and for sure this business is. We are not always going to hear yes. No one does. We always have to hear no's in order to get to the yeses. So intellectually, you know that if we're stopping ourselves from hearing the word no, we're always going to feel like we're struggling if we only expect to have the yeses. The side benefit, of course, to being willing to hear no is that we do develop and grow as people. We learn to be stronger people and increase our resiliency in life in general. And we're empowered by hearing the word no and realizing that that actually does not reflect who we are as a person. It's also even building our courage, which means that we are so much more capable and willing to dare to dream bigger and do bigger things because we're different people without fearing the word no. So you will notice, if you're willing to hear this, that your sales and your success rate and your profit will increase. So let's talk about different levels we can tackle this word and our mastery of failure, if you will. The first level of that is just to be aware how you react to the word no. When you hear the word no, what do you do? What do you think inside? What do you say to yourself? Are you beating yourself up and berating yourself because you got a no? When you hear the word no, what do you do externally? Do you stop making phone calls? Do you stop working your business? Do you step back and feel like maybe this isn't the right timer for you? I just challenge you to really think those things through and to maybe realize that there is some truth in what I said before, that it isn't any reflection of you or whether or not you should be doing this business. The second level of mastery would be a willingness to fail, a willingness to go and hear the word no. So with this, of course, it is putting yourself out there and being willing to face the pain and rejection that we often feel from hearing the word no. And then just challenge yourself to realize, if you're getting uncomfortable, are you taking it personally? And realizing it isn't personal. Where is that fear even coming from of hearing the word no? And thinking through how you can grow as a person to get beyond that. So the third level of mastery would be not just a willingness to hear the word no, but a wanting to hear the word no, a running towards it, if you will. This is what I really challenge you to move towards in your business, at the minimum this level, because when we realize that we are living in a go for no world where we are willing to totally embrace hearing that in our business, the great thing is that we're not fighting hearing it anymore. We're actually embracing it. We're choosing to set goals not based on how many yeses we want to hear, because when you do that, you're limiting yourself. You choose to slow down and reward yourself when you get the number of yeses that you set in your mind, and that's inhibiting the growth of your business and your growth as a person. An easy yes is a small success. When you're willing to set goals for no's, that helps you to stay focused on the work and activity that's necessary to be successful, to actually get the yeses. You're going to be willing to hear more no's than stopping yourself when you get the number of yeses. The fourth level would be not just a running towards it, but a willingness to really dive in and just throw your whole arms around it and embrace the word no. Go for big with the word no. That's where you're challenging yourself, like, oh, I've always been scared to talk to that person or call that organization or tackle that big thing that I thought of to do with my business. And instead you just go for it, because what's the worst that's going to happen is a no, and you like no now. And then the final level would be to be willing to lead and train others to just fail exponentially with you. You are leading a whole team of people who are willing to say no. That's when you're going to be exploding your business. So I just challenge you to just go for no, willingly embrace that it is part of your business, and for sure the journey and pathway to success. And let's see where that takes you, instead of focusing on just the yeses.